Hello everyone. Today we'll be looking at Novak Djokovic and what makes Novak Djokovic so special compared to every other person on the ATP Tour. Novak Djokovic is known as arguably one of the best tennis players who's ever walked the face of this planet. When comparing him to top 10 tennis players in the world, or even comparing him to top 100, top 150 in the world, technically there isn't really much that separates him from everybody else. What separates Novak Djokovic from his competitors is what he does outside the tennis court. Namely, how he takes care of his diet and how he's so diligent with his off-court fitness regimen and his stretching. Novak started dominating the tennis tour late 2008 when he first of all started changing his diet and started switching to gluten-free. Aside from his diet, what literally sets Novak Djokovic apart is how flexible he is on the court. This flexibility to him doesn't come naturally. He spends hours and hours in the gym working especially on dynamic and static stretching, making sure that he can avoid injury first of all, and second of all, almost become like a human wall where it becomes almost impossible for his opponents to pass him because he is so capable of getting to every single ball. One key element to Djokovic's longevity and his ability to get to every single ball on the court is his willingness to always look for different ways to improve his physical stamina and his flexibility. What makes Novak so different from his competitors is how he's not afraid to try new things to improve himself on the tennis court. He doesn't shy away from trying new things, experimenting with different methods, or even getting out of his comfort zone in hopes of trying to find that edge over his competitors. What's also important to note is no practice session starts without doing some sort of a dynamic stretching. Now, a lot of juniors, especially inexperienced juniors, make the mistake of doing a lot of static stretching before their practice sessions. You have to realize your warm-up has to mimic what you're going to do on a tennis court. Static stretching should be left to after your practice sessions where your muscles are completely warm and you need to kind of extend those muscles to avoid injury and also increase your chances of recovering a little bit faster. What's also very interesting to note is Novak Djokovic always looks for different ways of improving his, not necessarily his physical fitness, but his mental awareness. Here he started doing a lot of capoeira. It's an African Brazilian training method where he's not necessarily becoming a better athlete physically per se, but he's becoming more aware of his body and how his body is moving with respect to the elements and how he can control those elements and his body a little bit better. So not everything Novak Djokovic is doing is helping him become a better athlete physically, but it's making him a better athlete mentally, which clearly sets him apart from the competition when it comes to those tight matches, when it requires the person to have a little bit more than physical stamina to get over that finish line. As a coach, my suggestion to any young tennis player willing to make it in the big leagues and hopefully one day make it into ATP and play in some of these Grand Slam events will be to don't be afraid to be uncomfortable. Look to challenge yourself. Look to go outside the norms when it comes to training regimens. Don't just focus on your ground strokes. Don't just focus on having a bigger serve. Don't just focus on, in general, on your on-court performance. There is so much more to tennis than just on-court performance. As Novak Djokovic clearly has shown this and on his illustrious career, he doesn't necessarily have the biggest serve or the best forehand or the best backhand. He doesn't necessarily have the best volleys. He clearly does not have a best smash in the game. But when push comes to shove, he seems to have a little bit more in the tank than everybody else. So be uncomfortable, try new things, go outside your comfort zone, and you'll be shocked what your body's capable of doing. See you guys at work.